Welcome to another one. You are now tuning in to the podcast with Tigmatic. I'm your boy alongside with my co-host, the real Shay Rosa. And we're at it again, folks. I want to say thanks to everybody in the UK and Canada that has been supporting and rocking with your boy. Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide, Hustle 215 Radio Worldwide. We are on. Hey, listen, speaking of which, we're now sponsored by Hard Rock Cafe on Music Dreams USA Radio Worldwide. So, that means when you're sitting in the restaurant in Hard Rock Cafe, you're more than likely to hear our shows. You're more than likely to hear Stir in the Pot.
Or
you're more than likely to hear the pot, the Russell K. Morning Show, the Metal Podcast. You never know which one you'll hear airing in Hard Rock Cafe. So, along with that, we're going to keep it booming and say that we're happy that you guys are watching. So, without further ado, I want to jump right into it. Tonight I have a special guest.
Yes.
She's a friend. She's an innovator, if you will. She's an executive producer. She's a writer. She's a lyricist, and she's a genuine soul. So I want to say, welcome to the pot, to the one and only Glenda Baker. Hey! Welcome to the pot.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Hey, it's a pleasure. The pleasure is all ours, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you for coming.
Before we get into it, I want you to tell the people a bit about yourself. Tell the people a bit about who Glenda is. Let's break it down.
Sure, absolutely. So I am a songwriter. I have primarily specialized in country music. However, I started broadening my horizon a little bit more, and I've been writing hip hop, rap, and pop music as well. I'm also executive producer on 4 films at the moment. I'm a former model. I was in the modeling industry for about 23 years and kind of got into the commercial realm for a while. And now I'm kind of going full circle back into the film industry again from the other side.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell the people a bit how you got started into the modeling aspect, since you did the modeling for a longer time. Let's talk about that first and what your experiences were like. And then we'll dive into the other half, which is the boss side of what you do.
Sounds
right?
Good.
So let's break that down. Before we do that, though, tell the people where you're from.
Okay, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee. Go Vols.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tennessee in the house. Yes. Love it.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. So tell the people a bit how you got started into the modeling and things like that. Let's break it down.
Okay, it all started when I was 17 years old. One of my girlfriends, she knew a photographer who was shooting for Vogue, and they needed 2 models to do some editorial, and he asked if I would be in the magazine. So he took mine and my girlfriend's picture, and once I did, it was kind of like, this is for me. I was so excited. Like after I saw what it looked like, and like I got a little bit of taste of that world, I was totally sold. And then after that experience, I started looking for a modeling agent, and I went with a small little modeling agency in Knoxville, and she took me under her wing and pretty much taught me everything she knew. She actually was allowing me to teach like runway shows for her as well. But I did a lot of work for her, and then I ended up getting with an agency in Atlanta, Georgia, and I did some work out in Atlanta. So I was traveling from Knoxville back and forth. And then I got offered a contract to go to New York. At the time, my dad was like, no, you're not going to go live with, because I was going to be living with like 6 other models. And my dad was like, no, I can't let my little girl go to New York City and be out there living in an apartment that doesn't even like, so I guess when you're a model in New York, you're like, a lot of the models there don't have like showers or anything. My dad's like, no, I can't have you do that. So he kind of talked me out of it. And now in retrospect, I'm glad, because I ended up moving to Canada and did really well in the modeling industry there.
That's beautiful. So you're
Oh,
you're versed and you're well-traveled individual, as we can see that you've been doing this since you were 17. I see 23 years in the industry and many runways that you've walked. Have you done international travel as well in the modeling world?
No, I did have a company in Milan that wanted to sign me, but I ended up going I left Canada and went to Las Vegas, and there I was doing a lot of like convention work, bridal shows and things to that nature, print ads for hotels. I was on a Golden Nugget print ad for one of their hotels. I mean, I did a lot of work. Las Vegas, there's a lot of work for models, and I did quite well there as well.
That's really nice. Commercial work is hard to like, but that gets you seen. Like you said, Vegas is a lot of work. So you were seen by major companies that just probably were like, hey, you're beautiful. We want to use you. We're like, use you. We want, you're beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of print ads there, a lot of commercial work, as well as a lot of film companies that I was filming in Vegas at the time when I was there. But after I had my son, that's kind of why I stopped doing it, because I just focused on, being a mom and just wanted to take time away from it. And now that he's older, I've kind of gotten back in the industry, just not in the modeling side, but in the film industry.
Oh, that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. So let's tell the people a bit about what life was like, during this journey of modeling. Like break it down. Like let's all right, I'll say this. Give us some good side of, give us the good side and the bad side.
Okay. So
of your experience of modeling when you went to New York. Break that down a bit. And Canada as well.
Okay. So I did get to meet a lot of people, a lot of celebrities. Got to go to a lot of places and see a lot of beautiful cities. I think we went to Dallas, and that's a gorgeous city. I got to travel a lot and experience things that I probably wouldn't have if it weren't for the modeling. So I'm very thankful for that. The downside, I guess the only downside that really I can think of was I used to have an agent. This was in Canada. He was always a little flirtatious with me, but I just never really paid it any attention. But he ended up leaving the company I was with he went to become a casting director. And I had this audition for a commercial that they called me in for. And I didn't know he was actually the casting director for the commercial. So when I auditioned, later I got a call from him, which was like, okay, this is kind of strange, but he said, hey, they're really interested in you, but if you want the role, you're going to have to meet me at a hotel. And I was like, no, that's not going to ever happen. So I ended up going to my agent because she knew him, and we reported him, and I think he lost his job, but that was the only time that I really remember anything negative for me. But I do know that, I have friends in the industry, and they come across that very often. And, it just makes you a stronger person if you can, get out there and work in the industry and not let that side of the industry get to you and just keep on going. And I stuck with it for a long time after that. It was just one of those obstacles that I think made me work a little bit harder and made me a little bit stronger. And I was really glad that I actually stood up for myself, because, when you're put in that situation, you're really trying hard to progress in the industry. And, there's so many people who feel trapped when that happens to them, and they shouldn't have to feel that way. No one should ever have to feel that way. So, I was really happy that, I made the choice to not just ignore it, but to actually speak out.
Right. Definitely. Thank you for giving others a voice at that time where, a lot of people were just staying silent. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's always good to speak up for yourself.
It really is. And I hope
and others.
Yeah. I hope that it made a difference for someone else. Maybe it saved some other girl,
Yeah, definitely appreciate that.
So tell us what it was like to work for to do the Joe Boxer spread. You did a Joe Boxer spread, right?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
What was that like? Break that down. How did that happen? Break that down to the people, how did that happen and what that experience was like? Let's get into it.
So my agent, she submitted me to Joe Boxer to be a fitting model. And it was an amazing experience because I was a long standing model for the company. And so a little bit about what a fitting model is. So basically I would go in and there was a woman who would fit me for basically their underwear. And they would design the underwear off my body, which was cool because it was just me and her. It wasn't like anybody else,
Right.
So I did that for a long time. I think it was like a couple of years that I did that long-standing job, and it paid really well. Honestly, it was probably the only job I needed at the time. But I would just go in. I'd go in for like an hour, and they would fit me for like whatever their upcoming season was, whatever, I say lingerie, underwear that they were going to have for that season. And it was a great experience. I wish I would have went on longer, but you get older, so they just replace you with someone a little bit younger. But I understand that that's the business,
Right. Was there one of your favorite clients that you ever worked for besides like, the Joe Boxer campaign, but was there another client that was one of your favorites during this time?
One of my favorite clients mainly in the print or in
either or.
Okay. I'm trying to think what my favorite. Well, actually, this is a modeling job that I had, but it was for convention work. I had this really great employer who he hired me to do a convention for a week, and basically afterwards he knew all the models were really tired and they had like a masseuse there, so he hired the masseuse to give us all massages at the convention because I guess they were doing
it. That's what's up. You got to take care. You got to take care of who's putting in the work for you. Hey, that's awesome.
It was really awesome because there was I guess he was a masseuse that was there trying to sell his business, and he said, hey, my models have been working really hard. I want all of them to be taken care of. And so that was just like additional. And the convention work really pays well. It's just very hard. It's, you're standing in high heels and you're talking to people for 12 to 14 hours. So, I mean, my hat's off to convention models because it's not as easy as people think it really is. It's difficult work.
I can imagine.
It really is tiring.
Shay, you got a question?
I do. Now you said that you had your agent, and as you were doing, the modeling work from 17, you obviously had done the runway and you did the commercial work, and then you did the conventions, and then you learned how to walk in the clothes and model in the clothing. Did you over time during this 23 years, did you eventually be able to like mentor any other models, or be able to get some other, you know, models under your wings and be like, hey, you know, this is what I learned along the way, and be able to sweep some other girls up and be like, hey, and show them? Was there ever an opportunity for that for you?
There was originally when I first got started in the business. My agent, her name was Betty, and she was precious. She really took me under her wing. She said she saw something in me, and she allowed me to come help her at her agency. And I was teaching other girls how to walk runway. And I ended up teaching some etiquette classes for her because she thought that was really important as well. So she really did mentor me, and I learned so much from her. I don't think that she's still alive. I really miss getting to talk to her because she was a really good person that, you know, she gave a lot to people, and she gave a lot of her time to me when she didn't have to. And yeah, I really enjoyed that because I was able to reach out to a lot of the younger girls that were coming into the agency underneath me. So
Right, and be able to give back. And that's great. That
yeah.
Something that's necessary when you craft yourself, you know, in something that you're so passionate about, and then you're able to pass that on and give back. You know, that's something that we really want to be able to do, and especially give back the right way, where we're in, like you said, in a safe environment, in a place where people don't have to feel those anxieties or you know, pressures. And so that's really important. So
It is.
Tig.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
I was like,
No, I'm just rubbing my chin. Chin was itching a little bit. That's all. Yeah, that's all. My chin was itching a little bit.
No. So, you know, along the way, you did the modeling thing for 23 years, as well as while you were doing the modeling, you had to have had some interesting things happen to you along the way. So some stories of just your travels. Is that what kind of got you interested in the writing aspect?
It's funny because so for a while, when I was living in Las Vegas, I also worked in the casino industry, and
that's what my question is geared towards your casino, the casino industry part.
Okay, yeah, I met so many different people from different walks of life. I used to write down things from people that I met, and I started writing poetry and about people I met. Some of it's pretty hilarious. I actually kept a book, a little journal. And what ended up happening, how I got into the songwriting, was during the COVID epidemic. You know, when we were stuck at the house, I started pulling out my journal again, and I was writing some poetry. And then one day I said to my son, you know, I really think that I could take bits and pieces of my poetry and I could come up with a song. And he was like, yeah, right, Mom, that's never going to happen. And I said, no, I said, I think I can. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to do it. And he was like, okay, whatever, you know, just the teenager he was. But I said, listen, I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to get my song on the radio. And he was like, yeah, right. You know, and I was like, now it's a challenge for me. I'm going to do it. So I put my song together. I got with a studio in Nashville. They recorded it. And once I had it all together, I was like, okay, now what do I do? Because I had no idea. So I just started calling every radio station, sending emails. It took me probably about 2 months. I finally found a radio station out of Texas that said, we would love to take your song in rotation. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was a great, you know, in retrospect, looking back at it, it was such a great learning experience for him, because now he can say, you know what, like, she actually made her dream come true. And I tell him all the time, anything that you want to be, anything you want to do, you just believe in yourself and have faith, I let God guide you, and you can
That
make
is
it happen, you know.
Absolutely.
And
that is
now
fact.
I see a little bit of that in him. With like just recently, he said he wanted to be a pilot, and just like the way he was going after it, I was like, you know, I can see that that was a really good learning experience for him.
That's definite. That's definite because the fact that you were saying in Vegas you started writing down information about the people that you would meet in the casino, because I've been to Vegas. Vegas is a hilarious place, and the people there, there's never a dull moment. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah,
Never.
what happens
Absolutely.
in Vegas, I don't think it necessarily does stay in Vegas.
I don't think
I
so.
don't.
So let's break that down a bit, you know,
Okay.
because people do say whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we all know the surrounding counties know about it as well.
That's right.
Uh,
They take it home and tell everybody else about it.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So what was your exact role in the casino?
Okay, so I ended up becoming a casino host. I started
Break that
out.
down a bit. Tell the people what that entailed and what that experience was like.
Okay, it was a wonderful experience. I had a great time. So I brought a lot of whales to the casino. You know, a lot of my guys that came in were table players. I didn't have like a lot of slot players, but I did have my first player that came to the casino lost $1 million on his first trip, and that was really a big deal because you know it's you just won $1 million for the hotel, so that was a pretty big deal. Um, I met a lot of interesting people. There was, you know, some very strange people. There was this one lady who she literally was going. It actually was very sad because she was going around begging people for money, and she would lose it. And finally, the hotel had to 86 her. So you know, there's a lot of addiction in the industry. However, there's also, you know, people who love it and they go there and they enjoy it and they save up for it just like it's a holiday. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what's great because, you know, you see all these people so happy because it's their vacation. Some people save up for years to go to Vegas.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and some people, you know, and then there's people who go like every month, you know. I had players that were literally there every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So this kicked off your writing spree, your excitement of the players, I guess, in the casino.
Yeah, I can
Their
imagine you having a bunch of stories to tell based
Uh,
on just things you've seen on the floor while working. Um,
definitely.
oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff in the casino. I mean, and you know, and people ask you for crazy things and you know, you just have to decline them and, you know, just to keep yourself professional and, you know, but when they go to Vegas, a lot of people let their hair down and they want to do wild things. And that's one of the reasons why I left Vegas because after I had my son, I didn't want him. So one day we were driving down the strip, just for instance, and I look over and there's like a stripper bus with poles and like let's say very scantily dressed women. And I look over and I look back at my son and I'm like, I don't want this for my kid, you know? So that's one of the reasons why I ended up moving away.
right.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
constant party, and it's not, I don't think it's a place where you really want to raise children per se, unless that's the lifestyle that you want to live. You know what I'm saying? The constant
right.
party all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you live on the outskirts.
On the outskirts, there is a lot to do. You know, you've got Red Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot to do. Just when you get to the strip, there's not a lot for the kids, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, my friend Rawway was living in Vegas for about 2 years, and he used to constantly tell me it's always something to do out there.
There
Um,
is always something fun. I mean, there's always something. I haven't honestly been back to Vegas since I moved, and I do want to go back because it's fun. You know, it's a good time.
Glenda, your light is a little dim on my end.
Yeah, we can't see you. We can't see you at
Yeah,
all.
somehow you got your lighting got a little dim.
How's
Oh,
that?
that's much better.
Oh, there we go. Now we see you, Glenda.
There we
You're
go.
back.
I'm
You're
not
back
falling
with us.
asleep on you guys, I promise.
Yeah, the
No.
light got dim, so we needed to see you. All right, there you go. So
Got darker outside or something.
yeah, it's getting darker. Sun's getting real low. Not to say that, you know, everybody know where that comes from, the Avengers thing or whatever, but you know, I just wanted to say it.
He was in his comic book phase for a moment.
Yeah, just for a quick second. But so tell me about your executive producing side. How did you tap into that, and how did you put your footprint on the film industry? Tell the people about that a little bit, and what are some of the projects that you've worked on? You know, I know because you and I talked about them, and the things that you are working on. Tell the people about those things a little bit.
So I got started one day. I had this really cool idea from something that happened with my son. He I can't actually go into too much detail about it, of course, because another company owns the project now, but it's my story. But what ended up happening was my son, something happened to him, and I was like, oh wow, that would be a really good idea for a story. And so I called my friend Lee, who's done work for Pixar, and I said, hey, we need to write this, we need to put this in a script. And so he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so he started writing it, and he had a friend by the name of Danielle Basutti, who he introduced me to, and my other business partner, Tina Celine, we spoke with her, and she took a look at the project and she loved it. And now we've raised quite a bit of money for the project, and hopefully, I'm hoping that it will be out next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
congratulations. So
wanna
tell
go
the
back
people about
on.
your role in as far as Insidious as well. Tell the people about that.
Oh, with that is Danielle, the one I'm involved with in the film. It's her baby now. She was in Insidious too.
Oh, nice. So that's the woman you're working with on your project that now is full circle. Yeah.
A couple of projects. One that I'm trying to help her with, and really focused on our upcoming film. It's in developmental stages, but it's a sci-fi dystopian horror film.
Ooh.
That's what's up.
I want to be able to give you guys so much more about it. I'll have to come back on when I can tell you a little bit.
Yeah. You're gonna come on the show where we stir. It's called Stirring the Pot, and we stir the pot and talk about a lot.
Yeah,
we stir that way, we stir this way, whatever way we do it, but we stir.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll definitely have you on Stirring the Pot to talk about the project.
Okay.
Any other projects that you're currently working on?
Yeah, I'm actually working on, this is another one of my babies. This is one that I wrote. It's called The Gaslight Killer. I've in Lee, I brought my friend Lee Feathers back again, and he laid the basis of the script, and me and him have been writing it together. And now my partner Tina Celine is doing a lot of editing on it, and we should have, I'm hoping that this film will be out hopefully by the end of next year as well. We're in the process of raising funds for it, and hopefully we'll be able to tell you guys a lot more about that project as well next.
Right.
It'll probably be next year when I come on to talk about that project.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I can tell you a little bit about the project. So the project is geared to, I have really made it a passion of mine to help women who have went through domestic violence. And this project, I'm going to give back some gross proceeds to hopefully a domestic violence hotline. So we can help women and men, because it's not just women, get out of abusive situations.
If there's anything that you may need any help with, because I am a domestic abuse survivor, if there's anything that you could need any help with in the film and any promotion, anything like that, please let me know.
That would be great. We need to talk.
We do, definitely.
That would be
I told you I got Rockstar as co-host. My other co-host, you know, she's out for the day. Yeah, you know, you also have 2 other films that you're working on with Siberia Singletary, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about those a bit.
We're super excited. So we're doing a fundraiser. So she's got a book called The Fentanyl Killer. And it's crazy. I met Siberia on Facebook, and I just saw all her posts and thought, this girl is amazing. I have to become friends with her, because I saw what she was doing and I thought, wow, number one, she's young, she's a go-getter. And I was really, honestly, I was blown away by her. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to her. So like, we literally became friends off Facebook. And you know what? I've met a lot of cool people off Facebook, but so she has this project called The Fentanyl Killer. And I got to talking to her and I'm like, this would be a great movie. Would you like to join forces with my production company and your production company? And how about we make it a movie? And she was like, absolutely. She's just the coolest down to earth person. Absolutely. She really is. And
yeah, that's little sis. Shout out to you, Ty, if you're watching.
I know she's watching right now. But so her and I, we're getting ready to hopefully, we have been in talks with another company that it looks like they're going to allow us to hold a fundraiser at their dealership. And it looks like we're going to put on a fundraiser for The Fentanyl Killer in order to raise the funds for the movie. So we're really, really excited about this project, because we're hoping to do it, if not on the day of drug awareness, a day or two after Drug Awareness Day.
Oh, let's do. Let's do.
Wonderful.
It will be a candlelit. There'll be a candlelit service where people who have lost someone from fentanyl or any form of drugs will come out and light a candle in honor of them. And hopefully they will all contribute and give money. So we will take that money to fund The Fentanyl Killer. And what we hope to do with The Fentanyl Killer is we're hoping to put this in schools and churches so we can educate people on, you know, you don't know where the drug's coming from. You might think you're getting it from a friend, but are you? You know, because the friend might not know where it really came from.
Is that exactly what you're getting as well? You know, people might think that they're looking for a specific drug and the drug might be tainted with something else. So, you know,
yes,
that happens too.
It happens. It happened to my friend.
Absolutely.
We're teaming up with a lady who lost her son. Someone had offered him a pill. I think he thought it was like Tylenol. He'd never done a drug in his life and he lost his life. And you know how heartbreaking that is. So we are going to dedicate the film in honor of him. It will be at the end of the movie once you roll credits, and the whole movie will be dedicated to him. And I just think it's a wonderful thing, because I can't even imagine what that's like as a mother.
Absolutely.
or a father to lose your kid at such a young age.
Yeah.
To something like this. You know, it's never easy to lose somebody you love, but I can't even imagine what that's like, especially someone who never touched drugs in his life.
Absolutely.
As anything that I can do. And by the way, I know you guys are out in Tennessee. I have family in Tennessee. My father, God rest his soul, he just passed on April 6th. That's where my family is, out in Tennessee. And
okay.
And you know, whatever I can do. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, and we have a huge population of fentanyl users and people on methadone mile here in Boston, Massachusetts. This would be something that would really, we could probably get some help behind it. So if we can try to connect everything from all angles, I really want to be a part of whatever I can help with.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would
That's
love to
definitely
talk
cool. That would definitely be cool.
Because we have a
And
serious problem
full,
here. So I feel like this can, full circle.
We do. And
absolutely full circle. And to bring things full circle about the movie she was just talking about, your boy gonna be in that movie as well. I will be in the Fentanyl Killer.
Yes.
I don't know which role they're giving me yet, but I am going to be in this movie as well. And I'm excited for that because both of these women, Star and Glenda, both said, yeah, we want you in this movie. So I was like, okay, I'm all for it.
I've been talking to Matic. This is something else Matic and I are working on. We're talking about doing some music for some of these films together.
Absolutely. And you will hear music from yours truly on the soundtrack as well. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to do these things and do acting once again. Like I said, I only did acting one time in my life, and that was in my video. In that video, I didn't really talk. I didn't talk at all, actually. But, I still brought it to life, and people was like, well, what's going to happen next? And I'm like, well, you got to wait for the next video. Never did the next video, but it still brought that suspense to people. And
right.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. And, I don't know who they have as the Fentanyl Killer, but if y'all make me the Fentanyl Killer, I'll deliver.
I'm so good. I'm sure you would. I'm excited. I mean, we haven't got to the part of casting yet, but I'm really excited about that. And I know Star wants to bring you in as well. So, we're really excited and I'd love for all three of us to have a conversation about the movie and see what we could come up with.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, anything you need, let me know. I'd definitely like to be a part of it.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's going to be very helpful for everyone.
And Star's got another book. It's called Don't Open the Book.
Which your boy gonna be is already in that one.
That's another book we're working on. And then I told her after that, I've already got another project I'm working on as well. It's called Amnesiac. It's about my friend Lee is writing the script right now. It's about a guy who gets amnesia, and basically what ends up happening is his wife has to take care of him, but it's a comedy. So it's going to be hysterical. You guys are going to really enjoy it. It's going to be a funny one. And I'm hoping that Siberia will come on board with that project as well.
Well, that's great that you guys have all this going on. I mean, I know it's a lot of work because I just recently did a brief, some background stuff, in a film recently here in Mass. I do some stand-in, I do a little film writing myself. I did a series. I'm interested in all of this. This is just, I love all of this. So, you personally having the modeling aspect, having that being the pitting background gives you an advantage because
Absolutely.
gives you a great advantage. You had the etiquette classes, you know how to stand, you know how to do all the pieces that a lot of people don't come with. I just want to tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're definitely a rock star yourself. If nobody ever told you, you're definitely a rock star yourself.
Thank you.
So what's next for Glenda? Tell the people about that before we get into the deep part. We're a little bit over, but let's talk about what's next on the list for Glenda.
Right now I'm just really, really focused on all the film projects that I have. But what is next? It's actually happening this Wednesday. We will be taping our first podcast, and that's very exciting because we're going to be.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What's the name of your podcast? And right. I think I have a logo that I can share with the people on the screen.
Please do so.
I'm pretty sure I have.
You have it, Star Motivate.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure.
So this was
Okay.
Star's idea.
I think I posted it earlier, but
I say Star Siberia. Hey, she told me I could call her Star, so maybe I should just call her Star.
Siberia Singletary, y'all.
Yeah.
Here's her logo right up here. The Star Motivates You podcast, along with Glenda and Josh
Yes.
and Star.
We're so excited because our first episode will air Sunday at 7:30, and we're going to have Cheryl Williams on the show, and she is a huge supporter at giving back for foster care. She was a foster care survivor, and she's got a really important message to share with the world. And then we're going to have Danielle Basutti from, as we were talking about earlier, Insidious and God of War is going to be on the show. And she's been in the film industry for a really long time. So she's going to share a little bit about what she's done in the acting world. And she's also a singer and songwriter as well. So I'm pretty excited about her being on the show because she's one of my good friends. So I'm looking for, actually Cheryl is too. So I'm looking forward to chatting with them a little bit more.
Oh, that's great. That's amazing. Cheryl Williams, the whole foster care system, that's, all of these topics and things are really important for people to discuss. And I'm really happy that you're starting that venture and talking about real facts. I'm a survivor of the foster care system as well, so I will be tuning in. I definitely want to get those links. We have a lot to talk about, so anytime you want to.
I had no idea.
Yes, I was adopted at 4, so I definitely, and I am an advocate. Yeah, I'm an advocate for children, and I'm, currently dealing with some situations. So, I always want to uplift as many people and do as many things in this world to make things better. And that's why I said, when meeting amazing people like you who, have gone through your life to make changes in the world, and you're living in your purpose, not just saying it, but living.
Thank you. Well, I was telling Star, the thing with our production company, mine and Tina's production company, Parallel Productions.
Okay, thank you.
Our whole purpose with our production company is to give back. Everything we do, every film is going to be to give back. And even with Amnesiac, we're hoping to give to the Alzheimer's Association. And so everything that I want to be involved in is to give back and shed light on God. And that's our whole being. It's not about making the money for us personally. It's about us giving it to help people. So I'm really excited about everything that's coming up. I just feel like, it's since the beginning of the year, just things have been like just on a roll. It's just every time I turn around, I'm like, that's you, God, it's just God's working, and he's bringing people in my life that are making it happen. And actually Matic is one of them. I talked to Matic for the first time. What was it like? Was it the week before last, I guess?
Yeah.
And, right away he was like, I'd love to do a song with you. I was like, okay, let's do it. And he,
definitely.
I was telling Star, I see something in him, like I see in her, like the love for God, and that it's not all about making the money. It's not all about the fame. It's about doing something great to help people. And that's what I saw in them. And that's why I want to be a part of, everything that they've got going on.
Absolutely. One thing I want to say, while I'm on air, and I want people to understand, the money part of it is a good thing. But if you're just doing it for the money, it's not really going to pan out the way you think it's going to pan out.
That's right.
A lot of people don't understand you have to start somewhere first before you get to the money, right?
Right.
I know that coming into this industry, as far as acting and things like that, I don't know a lot about it. I had this paper right here And this is my actual script for 6 Singing Angels, Glenda. So I wanted to, put this up here for the people to know that, the mind of Star Siberia Singletary is, man, she's definitely a rock star, and she's always moving. She's always working and constantly coming up with so many different ideas, and her imagination is awesome.
She really is.
It's awesome. So, I read this role. I take this role seriously. I'm Jimmy Duncan, the crooked music producer. No Diddy. Had to say that. But this role, I'm pretty sure that I'm bringing this thing to life in a way that people enjoy it, and that's what I want. I just want people to enjoy my energy because I have plenty of it. And I thank you for that compliment, Glenda, because I'm glad that you see that in me. And I want people to see that in me because there's an authenticity within myself that I just can't not be myself,
That's who you
A lot of people try to impress people by being someone else, but I can't do that. I only can be who God made me to be. And that's what I take pride in, being who God made me to be.
That's right.
Yeah, so I thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's who you want to surround yourself with, people who uplift you and want to see you grow.
Yeah, positive people. That's all I deal with is positive people. Shay and I constantly have conversations, and we talk about God, we talk about life, we talk about, whatever's going on at the moment, and
all the time.
The people, my support system is very strong. My wife is my biggest supporter, and I couldn't do anything without her, but also, my brothers, my sisters, like all of my family that supports me, I'm thankful for that. So, and this journey that I'm on wouldn't happen if it wasn't for God making it possible.
Look at God, though. Is what I say. Look at God, though. Every time. Look at God.
Every time. Look at God. And thank God, and be thankful that we're in a position to do things, have things, and make things.
That's right.
Right.
So
because without him, we would not be able to be in these positions to be able to give
absolutely
to the other people that need us to be able to show God's love that he gives to us so they can see it. So then it could be that ripple effect that God talks about, that pebble, you throw that stone, that one little stone can do that ripple effect to so many. And we are that one little stone.
I do believe that God brings the people that have went through the lows. He allows them to fall in order so they can rise up.
Absolutely. I believe that as well.
And spread their message. And I really feel like that's what he did to me. And because I very much questioned there for a moment, why God, why me? When I went through some traumatic stuff, it was like, why would you allow that to happen? But I realized, you know what? He let me fall because he knew when I came up that I was going to spread his word. And what better person to do it as somebody who's been at rock bottom to share with someone, hey, you know what? It's okay, to go through bad times. You just got to motivate yourself and pick yourself up. Everybody, no matter how good your life is, goes through those experiences. And, you just gotta pick yourself up and just work your hardest and, keep your focus on God, and he'll never steer you wrong. That's just
absolutely
truth. That is truth.
Yeah.
That is truth. You said,
all right, so let's talk about something traumatic that you've been through and how you overcame it, Tell the people a bit about some things that you've been through and like I said, how you overcame them.
Okay.
Tell people a bit.
I went through a traumatic situation with an ex. He was he had me leave my job to go work for his company, and he never paid me. It was it really was financial abuse, because he kept saying he was going to pay me, and he made up excuses and another excuse and another excuse. And there was a lot of lies and a lot of gaslighting going on that I wasn't aware of. And when it all came to light, it was like I went through a dark depression, because I thought, why, God, I spent all my life trying to be this good person, which, you think you are, you think you are a good person. You want to do right. And I've always tried to do right by people. And I just kind of went through this thing where I was like, and then I realized I'm blaming God. Why would I blame God when he died on the cross for me to save me? How can I be blaming? And I realized by going to church, it really opened my eyes, because I've always been a person of faith, but I kind of I think through all of that with him, it was like a year and a half of crazy. It really was. And I had a lot of fear of him, to be honest, and just figuring out how to get out of that situation unscathed. It was really hard. And I went through a lot of abuse through that situation. And I just realized that after going to church, God didn't put me, like me and Matic were talking about this earlier. God didn't put me in this situation. I was in the situation.
That's what you and I talked about. We talked about that, and I'm gonna bring that back a little bit, because Glenda and I was talking on the phone, and she said that exactly what she said. Oh God, why you let this happen? And I was like, Glenda, no, that's not what it was. Right. It was you making the decisions that you made to let this happen to you, and right. He had to let it happen in order for you to see. Sometimes God gives us the desires of our heart. And in that moment, it was that person that you were dealing with, right? And as you were dealing with this person, it took a while for you to see the facade that they were throwing out there. This person was using you, you know what I'm saying? And when people use you, they tend to take things for granted, like it'll never end. And eventually God makes things end. And there's a cutoff limit for everything. I even just learned that yesterday in church. Like, yo, listen, there's a limit for everything and boundaries for everything. And once you decide to cut those things off, you make room for the overflow in your life.
You really do. And I think that what ended up happening with me is I started going to church, but I had like this awakening moment where it was like God put me in that place. He allowed me to stay in that place for a greater purpose. And that was for me to rise up and be able to help women
absolutely
who have went through abuse, because now I can take my movie, The Gaslight Killer, and I can raise funds to help victims, of gaslighting, of abuse. And I'm hoping that, I might be able to get some people out of those situations now that I'm more aware of what those situations are like. Because when you've never experienced something, when you're living it, it's completely a different reality. Because when you're living it and you're living in fear, you don't know how to get out of it, and you're too scared.
So how'd you get out? Tell the people how you got out and how that made you stronger.
Well, I actually I can't dive too much into it because of legality reasons, but I can say that someone brought the truth to my attention. And then it was like, okay, now it all makes sense. And I think, that at that moment, maybe that was God saying, okay, it's time for her to get out of this situation. But I'm very fortunate that I have my family behind me and friends that have really stood by me through all of this and been supportive, because when you're a victim, sometimes you stay in situations, not just out of fear, but embarrassment. And there was that for me. And now I feel like I can go around and tell people it's okay. It's okay for us to be embarrassed. It's okay for us to be afraid.
Absolutely.
But it's not okay for us to stay in the situation, because no matter what they say they can do to you, they're not really going to do it. And if they
Right.
do, you know, what's next? You know, so
Right. You know, I wanna say it takes a courageous person to know that, you know.
it,
Um
it took me a year and a half to get out of that situation, but you know, I'm very thankful. You know, I'm not thankful that I was ever went through it because it was horrific. But what I am thankful for is now that I can be the voice. And if you go to my Instagram, you will see, like, I post videos sometimes about, you know, how this affected me. And I really want to help people get out of abusive situations. And I'm hoping that with the Gaslight Killer, that will help people get the kind of help they need, because I know there's the victim hotline. That was very helpful to me. I used to go on the victims hotline and I would literally be talking to someone. They had no idea who I was and they just chatted to me. And I just think that's a great like avenue for somebody who doesn't want anybody to know, maybe just needs some advice of where to go.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Definitely. You became the now you are the this is what I was writing as you were speaking, the messenger of awareness.
I hope so. I really do.
Okay.
I hope and pray that God can use me to give his message. That's what I hope
Yeah.
and pray.
Yeah, it's important because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And so I know, you know, those levels of financial abuse, the levels of narcissistic behavior, the levels of just making you, you know, completely gaslit and completely feeling as though you're the problem,
Yes.
you know, and everything that you're doing is completely wrong.
And you're
And
the crazy one.
yeah, you're crazy. You're the crazy one. And your head gets so spun, you
Yes.
know, and you're just completely like trying to catch up. It feels like
You know, and not only that, you know, those same people will try to convince everyone else around you that you are the one that's causing the rift and the raft between everything.
That's right.
And it doesn't just happen to women; it happens to men as well.
It does.
And a lot of times, you know, that gets, you know, swept under the rug because it happens to women at a higher rate, but it happens to men at the same rate. People just don't really speak on it because us men, we tend to bury our emotions and not speak on certain things,
That's
right?
true.
You're so right.
And we live in a world in a society where when it does happen to men, when a man speaks on it, he's looked at as less of a man because he's being emotional.
It's funny you said that because I was talking, because when I posted a video about it after, I think it was probably in February or March. I think that's when I posted it. I had a friend reach out to me and said, "I'm so thankful that you did this. I just want you to know that it happens to men." He told me that, you know, he was with this very abusive woman and he was too ashamed to like tell anybody because, you know, like you said, they think you're less of a man, or, you know, there's no way a woman could do that to a man. And, you know, he was
Right.
really glad. And so afterwards, I went on and did another video to say, hey, I just want y'all to know that it's not just women this happens to. It does happen to men, and men shouldn't have to feel embarrassed to talk about it, because I know how embarrassed I was to like come forward to talk about it afterwards. But now I feel like, why wouldn't I share my story? Like, I would love to be able to share a lot more of it, and hopefully someday I'll be able to. But it's like, why wouldn't I share my story if it's going to help one person
Right.
get out of the situation that they're in? And yeah, it's just difficult because you do have a lot of shame that you stay in it. But you stay in it because you're scared, or you're, like you said, you're in like this, like, it's like your head's being spun around. And
Absolutely.
you don't know where you're at. And
You don't. And I was financially spun as a young man by, you know, my ex. So, you know, I can relate, you know.
yeah.
And she went as far as to have me thinking she was pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I understand, you know, I understand this wholeheartedly because I went through it as well. And I was just doing whatever I needed to do, kicking out whatever I needed to kick out. Like, okay, you need this. Come to find out, she wasn't even pregnant. She basically was just using me. And
That's
once I
not
found out, I woke up and that was over with. Shout out to Tiffy Bay, because Tiffy Bay is the person that was telling me that this was happening to me. Dream Chaser Tiffy Bay. He was telling me it was happening to me, but I was just so in love and so spent by this woman and so smitten that I couldn't even see through it.
Wow.
But it was happening, and it actually happened. So yeah, I can relate.
Physical, mental, emotional abuse happens on so many levels to men and women, and it needs not be done to anyone. And we need to reach out to our hotlines. We need to reach out first to God. If you are someone who is a believer like I am, you need to reach out first to God, and He will take you through the path of getting you right and getting your mind right, your spirit, your soul right, so that you will be out of those situations and with people who will guide you, to the safety.
Because I'm not a strong person, but my God is.
Yes. Right. Right. He will take you where you need to be and to the right.
God move mountains to get you where you want to go, but you got to trust Him and believe in Him first. And don't question how He's moving for you. You don't question how He's moving for you, what He's doing for you. You don't do any of that. You just let Him work and continue to pray and be faithful to Him, and everything will work out just fine. You know what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you're saying.
This was awesome to have you on, Glenda. This was awesome. I'm glad that we got to do this. We got to do this interview and chop it up about some things. You definitely have to come back.
I would love to.
If it's one thing in life that you've learned and that life has taught you on this journey, what is that?
To trust your instinct. When something doesn't feel right, you're probably right.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
That is the biggest thing in life that I've learned, because when you have signs of anything at the very beginning, that's when you know your intuition's correct and you should literally do something about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This was awesome. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. I really
You're more than welcome. Anytime you have anything that you want to promote, bring on the show, let me know. And
I hope it's going to be our song soon.
Yeah, that's going to be real soon. All right. Also, Star told me about you guys might possibly want to be on Music Dreams. We'll talk about that. Yeah. As well. Listen, you're very blessed. You're a very blessed person. You're a very beautiful soul, a beautiful person. And I thank you for coming on. And like I said, anything that you have going on, you're more than welcome to come back and promote it here on the podcast with Tigmatic and Shay Rosa. And we're going to do what we do. You know what I'm saying?
It's so nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you guys. And I look forward to talking to you guys afterwards.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So you stay on and we're going to end the episode. But folks, there you have it. You learned about Glenda Baker today, her modeling career, her casino career, her executive producer side of things, her writing career as well. And listen, if you guys want to learn more, you already know where to go to. Tap into YouTube, tap into Facebook, like, share, subscribe. And it has been a wonderful episode. And I'm going to end it right there, folks. So enjoy your night. Keep it locked in and always be positive. It's your boy Tigmatic. Follow us on all platforms. Shay, anything? Well, tell the people where they can find you before we get off here. I mean, Shay, tell the people where they can find you. Glenda, tell the people where they can find you as well.
You can find me, The Real Shay Rosa, on everything, everywhere. The Real Shay Rosa.
Hey.
You can find me, Glenda Baker Music, on Instagram, and Glenda Baker 95 on Facebook.
Hey. So once again, folks, Music Dream USA Radio Worldwide, Hustle 215 Radio are the home stations, and we're gone. Peace.